So time for card number 2. Also, I just loved making this card. All right, so here we go. So we're going to go ahead and make a little owl. So what we're going to do here is we're going to make very similar owl to the last card, but we're not going to add the little ruffle. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to make a little teardrop kind of a shape. Okay. You can, if you need to go all the way up to the top of the circle, if that makes it easier for you to kind of get that rounded edge, you can go ahead and do that. I did not. I'm going to go ahead and on the side here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to kind of just go up and at the very top here, kind of round off the top and kind of go back down. But I'm going to kind of make a little bit more of a straight teardrop. Okay. All right, so now I have 2 teardrop shapes. One is a little bit more rounded teardrop than the other, so I'm actually going to round that off just a little bit. All right, rather than so straight. Okay, so we have 2 little rounded shapes there like that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add in our little pieces here. So I'm going to go and grab my craft mat so you guys can see this a little bit better. All right, so what we're going to do is the first thing is we're going to go ahead and make our little owls. All right. So what we're going to do here is I have some little hearts. I give you a couple, or at least one extra here. So that way you can kind of decide what size is going to be best for this owl face and what size is going to be best for this owl face. Oh, that owl is going to be too small. I have to cut my other piece of this just a little bit bigger. Or I might just have to do one owl. Okay, let's see if this will work. It's a little bit bigger. All right, I think it's better. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to cut off the bottom of the heart there so it's a little bit more rounded, like that. And here, we'll do the same thing, like this. Oops, just going to fix that so it's a little bit better. Okay. All right, so this is what we have. We have that and that. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my pen here. I'm just going to draw a little curved edge right here for my owl. That's going to be just my owl wing. I'm going to do the same thing down here because the owls maybe are facing the same direction. It's going all the way to the edge. Okay. And now I have these little black dots in here. There should be a couple of them. There should be 4. I think I might have included some extra, but I'm not sure. And now you're going to take your glue and we're going to do tiny little dots on each of the hearts there, or each of the side of the heart. And we're going to glue down the little dots like that. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing here on this one. All right, now you can leave it just like that, and I think I'm going to leave it just like that for the little baby one, but for the big one, you're going to draw a little triangle for his nose. Okay, so you should, oops, oh goodness, I got glue everywhere. Oh my gosh, it's so messy with my glue. Alright, so you should end up with something that looks like this. Or a little owl face. Okay, and the other one should look like this. Okay, which at the moment I know seems weird, but trust me, it's right. Okay, so you're going to put a little bit of glue on the little one, and then you glue on his little face. Oh my gosh, so cute. And then we're going to do the same thing for this one. And I'm going to glue on his little face. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and build the rest of our card here while that dries. Okay, so now on the front of our card here, I've already pre-cut out the little holes in this with my small hole punch. So as you lay it on a white card, you get that see-through, so it looks like stars. So we're going to go ahead and put glue all the way around the outside and stick those on. All right, and now we're going to make a little fence at the bottom here. Okay, so you can kind of decide how tall you want your fence to be, kind of based off of how big your little owls are. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and trim these down, and I think I want them to be about this tall. And I'm going to go ahead and line one of those up with the rest of these so that all of my pieces are going to be the same height. Okay, like that. All right, so now I have 6 pieces that are all the same height. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to take one and I'm going to go ahead and trim a little triangle top. Now, if you don't feel comfortable with making your triangles exactly the same just by eyeballing it, you can line this up on the other side by laying it up on the top and on the left side, that right-hand corner. Whoops. Like that. And then you can line that up and just follow that with your scissors. So once you have one that you're really happy with, you can line that up with the rest of those. And I'm just going to do these one at a time because I want them to be nice and perfect. Boop. Boop. And this one, I make a lot of sound effects, so you should have to deal with me as I do like little things like boop, boop, boop. Oh, I turned up a little bit extra on that one. Not as perfect. Boop, boop. And this one. Boop and boop. This one I have to fix real fast. All right, right on the edge there. Okay, so now once you have your little picket fence toppers done, you can go ahead and glue those on. So you can kind of see you may not need all 6 of the pieces that you cut out there. So I'm going to just lay these down here and kind of see. I may have to at the very bottom. I'm probably going to bring these all the way down past the blue, so then that way I can trim them at the very bottom, so then that way they're nice and crisp at the bottom and matching on the edge of my paper. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give myself about 1/8 of an inch between each one like that, and I'm going to go ahead and stick my little piece that pulls my picket fence pieces across. It's going to stick on there like that. So I'm not going to glue it on. I'm going to go ahead and do this down here. I'm going to lay those down since I know that they just need about 1/8 of an inch between each one. Or if you like it up there at the top, you could glue it on there if you feel very comfortable doing that. I'm not going to do that because I want to make sure that I don't get glue all over the place as I put this together. All right. And I'm mostly making sure that the tops of my picket fence is what's lining up. And then as I am laying this piece down, I'm making sure that it's perpendicular with like this at a 90-degree angle with the little 1/8 inch pieces that are in between. Okay, press those down. All right, so once we're happy with that, then we can go ahead and we can stick our little picket fence in place. And I'm going to go ahead and stick some glue on the back side of those and stick that down. As I stick it down here, I'm going to be overlapping on both sides of my card base and also at the very bottom. All right, but I'm making sure that the blue here is nice and straight, and the blue here is nice and straight. Okay, so I'm not paying so much attention at the bottom here because I don't really care so much if those match up at the bottom because I'm trimming them all off. Okay, so I'm opening up my card and looking down on my paper as I trim off the edges of my fence, and then here trimming that off. As I close my card, I'm going to trim that off. Okay, so now we have our little picket fence with a little starry sky above. Oh, isn't that cute? I love how that turned out. Okay, so these little pieces you can use for something else. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and stick on our little owls. Oh, they're so cute. They're so cute. You can have your little moon, and you can just leave that just as is. Of course, I'm not going to do that because that is not enough for me. Course. So now we're going to use this little piece of gray suede paper and we're going to make little rocks. So all you're going to do is you're just going to cut this into little slices like this. It's probably not going to be perfect, and honestly, that's the point. If you really want to take your time and make them look really like rocks, you can even round off the little edges, each of the little corners. I'm not going to take my time to do that. So now what we're going to do is that this is going to be like the little kind of rock archway is kind of my thought. I thought that would be really cute. So it's going to kind of go up like this. Okay. So I always like to lay it out first so that I can decide how big I want it to be. So I decided it's going to need to go all the way to the side here. I'm figuring that out right now. And then that way you can also make sure to put the right amount of space between each one, because if you don't, because this middle one right here in the middle needs to be straight up and down, okay? So if you don't lay it out and you don't space it right, then when you go to glue it down, you're going to run out of rocks, or you're going to run out of space. Okay. Now the middle one there, even though I need it to be straight up and down, I'm also going to go ahead and taper it like this. Okay, so the top of it's going to be straight up and down like that, but then the pieces right next to it are going to match up nicely. And if you wanted to taper more of those so that your rock wall makes a little bit more sense, you're welcome to do that. I think I'm going to leave just that one like that because I don't have a whole lot of space to work with here. And I don't necessarily want to take a whole lot of time at the moment to taper all the little pieces. Okay. Though I'm realizing now I'm going to have to at least taper a couple more. Just ever so slightly. I'll do that one there, and I'll do another one up here. Actually, no, I'm going to do a wider piece tapered, because I think that will make a bigger impact. Oh. Now I'm noticing, I'm not sure if you've seen this here, but I did one tapered there, one tapered here, and one tapered here. So you can kind of intermix where you put your little tapered pieces there. Okay, so I've created a cute little rock wall. Oh, I'm so happy with that. So now I'm going to go ahead and glue that in place. And you'll notice that I tucked that behind the little picket fence there. Okay. I didn't go all the way down because, again, this is just, it's like a little bit abstract because, of course, there's not like a rock base holding the rock wall up. So it's also like happening at night is my thought. Okay, so now as we get up here, you have to decide where you want your moon to be. If you want your moon kind of be right here, I want mine to kind of be floating kind of in between the rock wall right here. I think that would look really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and tuck that there right now and glue that in place. Because otherwise, if I don't, I'm going to miss out on doing that, because you can't tuck a moon behind the rock wall because the rock wall is individual pieces glued down. And now we're going to wrap this around like this. That tapered piece, again, I'm aiming that for be mostly in the middle at the top. And as you're gluing this one down, make sure it's kind of somewhat even with the one on the far side, so those match up. And I hope you've noticed that I'm putting glue on the actual rocks themselves and not onto the blue paper, because I really want to make sure that my glue does not get all over the place, since dark paper oftentimes is when glue will show up, if it's going to show up at all. Okay. All right. And we have our last little rock in place. Oh, so cute. All right. Now, I kind of wish I had done a different tapered one here. I wonder if I can get 2 little tapers in there just to fill up a little bit more space. We will see. No, I wasn't going to do all these tapered pieces, but now I'm like, oh, I have to. Because I just like that it's all like nice and fit together. Sorry, the glue is showing and it's driving me crazy. All right. Okay. Well, I'm okay with the fact that that kind of overlaps just a little bit. I cannot be a perfectionist all of the time. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and stick my little owl on, and I think I want him to kind of be maybe down here. You can kind of decide where you want him to go. I'm going to go right there, and you can do the little baby one too if you would like. And I think in hindsight, I do want to put a tiny little triangle nose on that tiny little baby owl because I think that would be really cute. So little. I'm going to go ahead and stick that down right there. Okay. All right. Okay, so there we have the last card. If there's something else that you wanted to add in here, I think I'm going to go in and add just some lines right inside the edges of the picket fence, just because I would like just a little bit more detail there. Not very much. I like having just a little bit extra added detail, things like that. Okay, and I'm going to draw a line across here. I am drawing right on the actual pieces of paper themselves. I'm not tracing them. However, if you don't feel confident with doing what I'm doing just freehand, you can always use a ruler. Alright, that way it's not so stark. There we have it. Oh, cute little owl card. Oh, I'm really happy with how that turned out. Very fun. Alright, you guys, those are our barn owl cards for tonight. Or today. It kind of depends on when you're making the cards. Alright, have a fun rest of your day, guys. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.